When I was praying with my middle child recently about asking God for something to say sorry about, and he asked the Lord and didn't get anything. I think sometimes children expect to hear the audible voice of God, and yet as adults we know that God's voice comes through in a variety of ways, whether it's his written word or through pictures or dreams or the audible voice. So after just gently encouraging him to hear, and I explained that it would be the first thing to pop up in his mind's eye, and he got that, and we said sorry about it. I then the following day reminded him of another time that he'd heard from God in his group at church, and he insisted that he'd made that picture up. It was a beautiful picture of a treasure chest, and he's like, no, mummy, I made that up. And my instinct is to insist that it was God, but it's okay. I think we can put pressure on ourselves as adults to have to hear all the time, and that's just not helpful, and it's not helpful for our kids to pressurize them, because I think it can have the opposite effect of turning them away. God is so much bigger, and the amount of times I've had to cry out to God for parenting skills when I've felt well out of my depth. And God's always been faithful and has always given me wisdom or an answer or a little bit of instruction. And so I think in the times when we're concerned that perhaps our kids aren't hearing enough, actually we never really know, do we? Because we don't know those little conversations that they're having without realising that they're actually talking to God. He's so much bigger, and what we're called to do as parents is to model to them and to encourage them. But the results of that's God's responsibility. You know, God is responsible for them ultimately. We have our responsibility is to be obedient and to nurture and to model and to kind of trust the results to him. I think learning to entrust them into God's care when they're smaller is easier, when they're still under your direct oversight, your constant parenting and nurturing. I'm guessing it gets a lot harder as they turn into teenagers and young adults, when they're making those bigger choices for themselves. But the choices that we make in the early years, what's the saying? You know, give me a boy till he's 7 and I'll show you the man. In these early years, all of these tools through Parenting for Faith are their foundational behaviours and models which will help strengthen them as they get older.